Hey. It's Matthew Harvey with the 12 o'clock siren, recording in the 903 Broadband Studios at Cowboy Corner on the southeast side of the downtown Leonard Square. On my left is James. I'm fabulous for Christmas. Hartley.
I am fabulous for Christmas. My piece of advice to you, listening folk out there, is to not be a UPS driver caught in a jewelry heist.
Ooh.
Yeah. On my left, I got Jason Fuller.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Howdy, folks.
Forgive me for my voice. It's going in and out.
You okay?
I'm getting over all that crud, man.
Got the jitis, laryngitis.
I got something.
What do you call a deer with no eyes?
I don't know.
I know, but I won't say it.
A no-eye deer.
All
Yeah.
right.
My 7-year-old's been pulling that one on me for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Nice.
What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs?
Mm.
Still no-eye deer. Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Who's our guest tonight? You want to introduce there, James?
we have Mr. Eric Sampson.
Hello.
He's been a long-time friend of myself, but also somewhat local chap, if you will, and kind of a local business owner, if we consider the greater Texoma area.
Give me a rundown real quick.
So, Eric, you keep me honest here. You're currently a firefighter at Trophy Club,
Yes, sir.
and you currently have a custom leather business called Sampson Leather,
Very good.
and you are in the process of raising bucking stock.
That's right. Samson Buckers.
Samson Buckers.
Cool.
Oh,
I like the
yes.
name.
Not just a clever name.
No, Bad Mother Buckers.
That's
There's a lot of fun you can have with that,
Oh,
that
all day,
name
yeah.
in the company name business.
Oh, yeah.
Well-
Especially you start getting into the artificial breeding side of it, too. you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah, it's expensive juice there.
So, did you ride?
A little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was the Bramer tamer.
Oh, yeah?
Mutton.
Yeah. Well, I started off in, calves when I was probably about like Wyatt's age, I'd say.
Okay.
Riding calves, and then I had a big growth spurt. I got to be about 6 foot about halfway through high school.
Physics don't work out.
No.
Mm.
And I remember I was telling my dad too. I was like, I'm starting to kind of get scared,
Yeah.
and I think something's wrong with me. My dad, you'll probably hear a lot of great quotes from my dad tonight. He's like, "No, you're just getting smarter."
That's right.
And so I went and I started fighting bulls a little bit after that. Doing some rodeo clown stuff. And I like to be on my feet and having an advantage of that. And then I got smart enough to get away from that too. And like I say, then I just always wanted to start raising rodeo cattle. Ever since I was 11 years old, I wanted to raise rodeo cattle, mostly be a stock contractor, have the
Sure.
full-blown deal. But
Well, that's there's a certain mystique that goes to that. Seeing the guys in their expensive trucks with their expensive rigs, their nice starched jeans, and
Yeah.
that's like the big to do around that environment.
Big
Yeah.
time.
yeah, I'm experiencing the spending money part of it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can empathize. I rode a little bit when I was younger and kind of had the same thing. The physics just don't work out.
Yeah, you do not have the build for it.
I'd have been a great calf roper if I'd have pursued that.
Bulldogger.
Bulldog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying too, though. Man, I feel the same way though. Like the bulls that you're raising today are not the bulls that were bucking when I was a
No.
young
No,
chap.
it's just like all of sports. Those are full-on athletes now.
Yep. Genetics.
We're
just-
literally building the bulls in laboratories.
Yeah.
And until we can build cowboys in laboratories,
is-
we're going to, and we're losing riders left and right as far as, kids not wanting to get out. And I get it because when I was a kid growing up, they had practice bulls to get on. Now those guys don't make money. The practice bulls don't make money
Right.
anymore. So guys don't want to feed those anymore. They're wanting bulls that they can go out and compete with, and it's going to sell tickets, and kids don't want to get on them. I don't blame them. I
No.
don't want to either.
No,
So
there's-
that's where we're struggling right now in the business.
I wonder if there's a need for that. Like if you say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to be a bucking stock producer. I'm going to run maybe a regional school, and I'm going to have some intermediate bulls and some junior bulls that.
It's starting to pick up.
Right.
You're seeing that Marty O'Brien over there at Top Row Cowboy Church in Greenville at the Old Horsemen's Club. It's a cowboy church now.
Oh, well, that's a good
And,
use
yeah.
for it.
Yeah, there you go. And so he does that. Basically, it's like a little practice deal, and they even have little jackpots and all that. And they have a
Yeah.
little ministry to go along with it too. And the kids out there are loving it. It's a good, safe environment, as safe as one can be riding bulls.
Yeah.
And you got guys that they're not going to steer you wrong out there. So anybody aspiring to be a bull rider or anything like that, or even get on young stuff, you can go out there to Top Row Cowboy Church, see Marty O'Brien over there. He'll hook
Good
you
place
up.
to get your feet wet.
Absolutely.
Well, I think I turned 36 earlier this year, and I think I talked to you. I was probably 33 or 34 a couple years ago, And I said, man, before I get too old, I want to do it one more time, just to kind of been there, done that, got the shirt. And then we've talked about going over to like North River or something.
Yeah.
And I think I went to Billy Bob's and saw something. I texted you and I said, that ship sailed. Like,
that window has closed.
That has closed. You know, like if you had a little pasture steer or something, I might would go, but I'd be fully kitted out too.
I'm not gonna lie, I get an itch every now and then, but as soon as I'm at an event and you start hearing those bulls come banging up the alleyway to get up in that chute,
like, nope.
Yeah.
When's the last time you rode?
Oh man, I was still in high school whenever I was getting on anything. So I mean, shoot,
I got you beat.
Now. What do you got?
I was 25, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rode down in Austin with my sister-in-law's boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
It was a practice event.
Yeah.
And they said, you want to get on? And I'd already had a few adult beverages and peer pressure got me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I guess I do.
It would take much, especially.
How many friends did you have there?
None to say, hey, don't do this.
That's an awful lot of peer pressure.
I had a bunch of rodeo, like, legit bull riders that were like, yeah, man, you can do it.
Was it like a Pee Wee Herman situation?
Yeah, they're like snickering behind my back. Yeah. Anyway, it was.
Did y'all hear about the Pee Wee Herman deal? He's going to be doing Pee Wee's Big Adventure at Majestic Theater in person.
Oh, wow.
And doing a talking about it.
I'm sitting here waiting on
afterwards.
the punchline.
No, this is a true story. Just came out the other day.
We should go check
Tickets
that out.
go on sale Friday.
So let's back up.
All right.
Where were you born?
So I was born, grew up in Merritt. I was born at Greenville Hospital.
Okay.
Went to the same house that I came home from the hospital, and I did not move out of that house until I was almost 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Right there in Merritt, Texas.
So you went to what high school then?
Went to Bland High School.
Bland, okay.
Yep.
Good friend of the show is a girls basketball coach down there now.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, Garrett Todd.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I went there, I had 27 people in my graduating class, and this is in 2003, so not that long ago.
Yeah.
So you would have had
Longer than you'd
Mr.
think, though.
Claxton.
Oh, absolutely.
He was from Celeste.
Yeah, well, I think he graduated from Leonard, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he really?
I think he graduated from Leonard.
know that.
He lived in Celeste.
Yeah.
I want to say his wife lived in Celeste.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they moved over here, and I'll say that guy, he turned my world around in high school. There's so many things that I can attribute to him that he instilled in me as a teenage kid that, man, like I say, I hate that he's still in education. I think
I haven't seen him in a long time.
last I knew, and I keep up with him a little on Facebook, but I don't know what he does as far as work. He retired from teaching ag there in Bland, and I think he was recruiting for Tulsa Welding School.
Okay.
He's still living around here, I believe. So
I knew him from Quick Check coming in
Yeah.
and out. He was always a really nice guy.
Oh,
His whole
man.
family.
yeah,
Is that where you learned to weld?
yeah,
Mr. Claxton?
Yeah, he taught me how to weld. Whether he'll admit that or not, because he knows my welding skills. So.
Yeah.
And what's funny is my first job out of high school was doing welding and stuff like that. And yeah, he heard about that and he was kind of shaking his head about that.
Like, really?
Yeah.
You're a welder, huh?
Yeah.
I learned to weld in high school, and it was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine was.
So you graduated in 03,
Graduated in 03.
moved up to Blue Ridge, Farmersville.
No, I moved big city of Allen. My
Oh.
first steps there.
Oh, wow.
So what? I had a sister over there in Allen, and I remember I moved over there, and I freaked out because I could get pizza delivered to my door.
Yeah.
I was freaking
Big moment
out.
in a young man's life.
Yeah. And then I got even more culture shock because we went out that first night that I moved in with her. She wanted to go out, and so I was like, "Heck yeah, where are we going?" She goes, "We're going to Dallas." So get dressed up. We're going to Dallas, and how I dress,
Sure.
and we're over there kind of off Stemmons over there, and we get out and go to the bar, and I start noticing the line to get into this bar. Everybody kind of looks the same over there, and by the same, they're all the same sex.
Mm-hmm.
There's all men going in there. It's like, oh,
Not a
man,
very
I don't
diverse
know.
crowd.
Yeah, it turns out, so she had a lot of friends in that culture over there, and yeah, that was my first
Bar experience.
introduction, going out there with her.
Was it your first gay experience too?
Well, yeah. Wow.
10 minutes for this to go together.
Yeah, we went off the
sorry.
rails fast.
No, it's all right.
No, but anyway, I actually had better luck going out that night.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, so yeah, I got thrown to the wolves pretty quick. They're moving out of Merritt,
yeah.
That's in culture,
That's a bit stepping out of bounds coming from Merritt, Texas to Oak Lawn or
Well,
whatever.
I didn't think that we were going to get it there, but tonight,
Yeah.
but
There we go. So you lived in Allen for a while.
Yeah, I lived in Allen.
Then made it back out to the country at some
I
point.
did. So what's funny is after I lived over there for a little while, and when I was over there, I was hanging out at Love and War a lot in Plano.
Yep.
And what I've been going to school to do some broadcasting stuff and some acting type stuff, and my goal back then was I wanted to be in broadcasting somehow, whether it be like a news anchor, radio DJ, something. That was my big thing. And so I got to talking with Bruce Kidder, used to be over there at the range. There we're watching a Chris Knight show at Shiner Sundays, and I got to just talking with him, and he let me kind of go in through the back door of the range there as an intern over there. He put me on Thursday evenings.
Cool.
I started off with Kevin Wallace, and then I got to run the show a couple of times by myself. And
Cool.
I was super excited because, like I said, I had tons of friends that had been going down that same avenue there, and they couldn't get a microphone in front of them, and I just so happened to just
kind of lucked into it.
I totally
awesome.
fell right into it. And
They were very accessible, though.
They were,
A
yeah.
buddy of mine, Jeff Arnold, we used to go down there the mall was right there, too.
Mhm.
So we'd go over to the mall, do whatever, and then we'd always go by KHYI on the
Yeah.
way out. And a lot of times, like a Friday night, it'd be Little John and Boone.
Pookie and Boone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little John and Boone at the time, I guess. But we'd go in there. They'd let us in the studios. We'd be hanging out with them,
Absolutely.
for a little bit. and
Yeah.
Boone's
we'd
still
go-
on there on Friday night.
He'd give us is he on there?
Yeah, he's still on there.
Still
Cool.
on there.
Yeah, he gives us a shout out and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
cool.
it was cool, and everything was just old school in there too. They still had the giant wall of CDs and
Yeah.
everything you go through, and
That's cool.
yeah, you'd get the request, and that wouldn't be loaded up in the computer. You'd have to go hunt it down, and
Right.
there's times I ran out to my truck to go grab a CD or something.
Couldn't
That's
find
cool.
it. Yeah.
They've moved, haven't they?
Yeah,
they
they're
still
in
there?
Little Greenville, I think now.
Oh, okay.
And did you learn pretty quick there when you were interning that it's going to take a long path to financial success here?
Brett Dillon, I don't know if he's listening or not, but he
I hope he is.
Yeah.
he may very well be, honestly.
We're going to tag him in this episode.
Yeah. So he told me, I saw him at a wolf sanctioned event. We were at that Texas Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And
I used to work with the Wolf.
Right, yeah. And so we were over there, and I was talking to him, kind of having a heart-to-heart and talking about my future and stuff. And at this point, I was doing what a 19, 20-year-old boy's supposed to be doing, worried, scared, sick about what he's going to do for the rest of his life, And at the time, I wasn't making any money or anything at all. And so he basically told me, it's like, unless you can really hit it big, and chances about 1 in a million, is like you're either going to be making 6 figures or you're going to be making minimum wage
Yep.
in this job. And he's like, unless you got a girlfriend that's going to support you or a wife that's going to support you, he's like, you might
Time to
want to
move
think
on.
about it,
Yeah.
because he told me he's honest. He's like, that's how I'm able to do it. I got good friends that helped me along here. And so that's, while he was able to stick it out, and I'm sure he's doing a lot better now than he was then as far as all that. But yeah.
So
It's a rough business, and I was just on the promotions level. I wouldn't even on air,
Right,
and
yeah.
on air is not better. Board op's not better, and
Yeah.
unless you're basically drive time at a big
Right.
station.
And that's what I was trying to. I wanted to be actually, personality and talent,
Mhm.
that and I don't have a whole lot to work with as
Yeah.
far as that is anyway. So, I started trying to find some other kind of means of a career after that, and like I said, I didn't have a whole, lot.
we can see where it's got me.
You're doing pretty good. Sitting there, you got your
Our parents are
overalls,
proud.
I didn't put the college degree on the wall
No,
for a reason.
yeah,
You still playing guitar?
a little bit.
Okay.
I started kind of picking it back up a little bit. It was funny, after my first daughter was born, she's 7 now, I'd slowed down a lot, and I don't think it's anything particular to do with having kids or anything. It's just, I don't know, just got too busy. And but I've been listening to some music lately that kind of piqued my interest back up in it again. So I started fiddling it back around. It's so funny. It's like riding a bicycle, everything except for my fingertips.
Drop it.
Right.
Drop it. Who you listening to?
Right now, it's funny. A lot of Tyler Childers
Of course,
genre.
yeah.
I started off, I really wanted to get into singer-songwriter type stuff. My idol was Cody Canada for a long time, and he still is. I still, big fanboy.
Departed's trash, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, absolutely. and that's why you don't see him with them very much.
Right.
He's out there doing acoustic shows by himself now. And it feels nice to be able to talk openly about music, by the way, because I couldn't do this whenever I was on the radio.
That's,
Say
why,
what you
yeah.
want.
that's why we started the
what you want.
podcast. So.
it really
yeah.
is.
Seriously, I got slammed on by the range because I was talking down about Randy Rogers. and there's call-ins all night, and
It didn't go so well.
Big Daddy Bruce didn't like that.
What'd you say?
I was just talking about how I think he's just he's kind of selling out, and he's just kind of got a mainstream sound now. And
Isn't he touring with Miranda Lambert right now?
Could be.
I don't
think
know
he
the
is.
answer.
So
Well,
you were
you're-
correct.
You were right. I think. The only thing more than that is Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, 11 years ago, Range Country wasn't ready to hear that though. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Still
year? What
holding
year
on.
was this?
So that would be 05, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about when he was heating up.
That's about when Kiss Me in the Dark came out.
Yeah.
It was a turning
Yeah.
point.
You could still go see him like at Southern Junction
Yeah,
and everything,
right.
because I remember, I think I might have even been plugging a show or something, talking
Yeah.
about.
So Tyler Childers, man, Jason just introduced me to a new band that I'm digging.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah,
They're
if
not even
you,
Texican.
No, they're not. If you're looking for some like that old Texas swing type stuff, it's the countryside of Harmonica Sam.
Okay.
They're Swedish, but we're talking.
I heard him yesterday in James' truck, and it sounded really good.
Yeah, we're talking like old school Western swing.
I'm
Like
gonna have to
straight
pick
out of
that
the
up.
50s.
I'm a huge fan of that. My wife,
If you're into like Charlie Crockett, it's farther
yeah.
Western swing
Yeah.
than Charlie Crockett.
Well, that's what I like about Charlie Crockett is when he gets into the swing stuff.
I like his soulful stuff too. I mean, he's kind of
He's got a good sound.
he's
about
all
him.
over the place, man.
I think it was you that introduced me to Charlie Crockett.
It might have been. I remember telling you I didn't know if I was the first
you,
one.
You sent me and Jason and Scott a group text.
Yeah.
And it had like Jamestown
And it-
Ferry or whatever.
And I can't remember which one of y'all said, well, he's got a good sweater collection.
I think that was Jason. Yes. Yeah, man. There's some good music to be found out there, but it's I feel like we're kind of getting back to that picking through. You kind of got to find
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
I hate the term Texas country
Sure,
music,
but it
because
serves a purpose.
it's a
though.
label, and it's not what it is, though.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because all these guys that I'm really liking that are coming out, they're the East Coast guys over
Yeah.
there. I call it coal miner music, and I don't know if that's an
Mm.
official label or not. But
Right.
your Tyler Childers and
Coal
stuff like
core.
yeah.
Cool.
Sturgill,
Yeah.
Sturgill Simpson stuff. What I like is these guys that just have such simple lyrics, but when they rattle out a line, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
kind of gets you right in the feels, and they do it with that, Kentucky vernacular that's so simple,
Yeah.
and I think that's part of it. You
Yeah.
know, it's just,
Well,
That all comes from John Prine, I think.
oh yeah,
He's from Kentucky. He influenced Chris Knight.
Yep.
Chris Knight said when he started, he could play 35, 40 John Prine songs.
yeah.
And Sturgill's the same way. Tyler Childers the same
wasn't
way.
Keith Whitley from
Keith
Kentucky?
Whitley was also from Kentucky.
So John Prine kind of stems all that, because that's
Yeah, I
another
think
one
so.
of my all-time favorites.
Those guys you name, the thing that they have in common to me is it's as powerful acoustic as it is with a full band.
Mhm.
It's good to its core.
And I'll say the best concerts I've ever been to have been the acoustic shows and stuff, which I missed.
Oh yeah,
Big opportunity.
Chris
But
Knight is as good acoustic as he is with a band, and Tyler Childers the
I
same
think
way.
even better
Yeah.
to me. The best concert I ever went to, and while we're on the subject with John Prine, I missed the opportunity. 2 years ago, I was at the NFR in Vegas. We pull up to this nice restaurant over there, me and another couple and all that. We were going to go eat, and I saw on the big marquee right there, John Prine acoustic, and we had tickets to go to some
Blue Man Group or
no,
something.
yeah, it's something like that, and Circus Soleil show or something, and we had to make that. But I was sitting there like they're like having to pull me by the collar away from this
Yeah,
John
you can
Prine
see Cirque du
acoustic.
Soleil anytime. You can only see John Prine.
Well, and so I thought about that. I was like, man, surely we'll see John Prine sometime. And it's like
Twice a night.
You look on there,
4 nights a week.
Yeah.
yeah, you
Just
look,
kidding.
yeah, like in Sydney, Australia, you probably see him over there. It's,
Yeah.
And that's what's funny is I just noticed him and Tyler Childers were playing in Sydney, Australia. As like road trip time.
Yeah. That's a.
But
Ooh.
that's I didn't even think about that. I didn't even make that connection there because, like I said, and some of the people that actually mentioned John Prine, it's funny, like Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
You know how big of a fan she is of John Prine. I was listening to a podcast with her in it just because she was talking all about John Prine in it.
Right.
Yeah, and like Todd Snyder and all those
Oh
guys.
yeah, for sure.
They have big nods to him.
So what started? Because I grew up, of course, listening to your George Straits and your Garth Brooks, right? Where did the red dirt Texas country really kind of get its pickup? I mean, I know like Charlie Robinson and stuff started coming around kind of in the '90s.
I think we got to go.
I was
back.
introduced to it by The Range.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
So
I'm
as far as,
interested to
like-
hear your take on this because I think I know Jason's, and we're going to hear that too. But I'd be curious because y'all are both kind of subject matter experts in this. So
I think we're going to be going back to your Willie and Waylon.
Well,
guys.
sure.
I
Yeah.
think they're the ones that really kind of got shunned from the mainstream.
right,
They went back home,
did the outlaw thing.
did their own thing. Whether they were, I don't even know if they're trying to really be outlaw so much as they're just like, it ain't going to work.
Just
Me
do
trying
it
to
here.
do it this way,
Yeah.
so I'm going to do it my way. If it works, I
Sure.
can still buy a loaf of bread and eat,
Right.
type of thing. And I think it just kind of went through lulls.
I've heard a
from
lot of
that.
people in a lot of different industries say that Texas has got enough audience for
Whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
And especially down
Whatever-
where they were
whatever you're
doing it, down there in Austin, you can eat every day, if you're
Oh,
playing
yeah.
over there.
Armadillo World headquarters and all that stuff back in the day.
But as a young man, when did you first start becoming
Okay.
like, okay, we don't have to listen
All right,
to
yeah.
Tracy Lawrence or whatever?
Yes,
which nothing against Tracy Lawrence,
Yeah.
love him, but
No, I know
you
exactly
Paid
what
me a
you're saying.
Birmingham.
And
Yeah.
I want to say in 99 or
Okay.
so is whenever it hit me. So that would put me about 14 years old.
Okay.
So like I said, I was like you, listening to KSCS,
Yeah.
riding with the Dorsey gang.
Young country.
99, I went to the KHYI, what's it? The Dallas house.
Oh my.
South Fork Ranch.
TMR, Texas
TMR.
Music
Yeah,
Revolution.
and Pat Green was headlining it.
Wow.
1100 Springs was playing. Tommy Iverson and Mark David Manders and Gary P. Nunn, maybe.
Good old days.
It was a lot of folk.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was a
that,
big bill.
See, that
And
predates
I didn't
my
know.
knowledge.
I didn't know
Yeah,
what I was watching really.
that was kind of, for me, that was the beginning. Because I'm going to tell you, like, I was like you, and all I was hearing was the stuff being pumped out by Nashville. I never listened to the Range or anything. And right about that time, I was starting to get my ear to the ground on, MTV, seeing
Sure.
Limp Bizkit hit me hard back
Oh,
in
yeah.
those days.
Yeah, we're all guilty.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a huge Wes Borland fan, and I was like, oh man, I love this stuff way better. And like I say, I'm here growing up on a horse ranch during
Yeah.
all this.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to even be listening to
Uh-huh.
this stuff, but I like it because it's different, and I'm getting where I can't stand what's starting to be churned out as far as country music.
Right.
Love the old stuff.
Yeah.
My first 2 CDs I ever bought about the same time were Johnny Cash Live at Folsom Prison. I bought these 2 CDs at the same exact time at Walmart.
Hold on, let's guess.
And
Let's guess.
number 2.
Merle.
I'm gonna go with.
Give me a hint.
I'm gonna say rap.
Not rap.
I was gonna say
Oh.
Snoop Dogg,
What year?
Doggy Style.
What year was the album made?
Yeah. Yeah, give me that.
85-ish.
Anthrax.
Give me another
close.
hint. I think I can get this.
Master
I,
of
I,
Puppets.
I bet I can get close.
It's hard to give a hint without giving this one away. There were skulls on the album cover.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Appetite
No.
for Destruction.
Bingo.
Yeah.
There you go.
This guy
Okay.
gets me.
Yeah.
This guy
Yeah,
gets me.
I'm telling we're
Yeah.
we're a
You're-
musical like parallel
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, my first 2 CDs were Live at Folsom Prison and Appetite for Destruction. Right
It's
there.
not a bad
So,
first
yeah,
pair.
so
Mine
I-
was like Boys to
I
Men
had-
or something.
I had a really
One leads
Weird.
to the other.
Yeah, that's true.
And so anyway, I was trying to look for something different. Still love country music and everything. Still wanted something different. About that same time, I started hearing your Pat Greens come around.
Okay.
And I was hearing a little bit on. That's about the same time I was listening to Pat Green. You couldn't hardly hear him at all unless you went over to the Range. In the Range, I started hearing Cross Canadian Ragweed. Jack Ingram was real big back then too.
No.
Corey
How
Morrow.
big
Charlie
was the
Robinson.
range in bringing Pat Green to the forefront that I don't because
Uh,
I don't know much about that time really.
Pat Green
when he was getting big.
Giant.
yeah.
When he was touring with Dave Matthews, he was one of the biggest acts.
Is
in the
that how he
world.
got his start? His
I think he was
big
the
break?
best-selling act, like as far as live tours for a year or two.
Yeah, I don't think he rode the Range tide in. I think like he went straight up through like the
Yeah.
Wolf and all those guys. I think he surpassed the Range.
Yeah.
Pretty
but he was
quickly.
still
Pat
following-
Green blew up because he crossed over. Wave on Wave was a pop hit, like
Mhm.
106.1.
This is a great
hit.
song.
Yeah.
But he signed like a multi-album deal in Nashville.
Gotcha.
The deal was so long that I think they eventually dropped him when he stopped selling
Well, because
So
it
well.
kind of went doo-doo.
after
Yeah.
several albums. But
Well, he wasn't what people were liking anymore. That's
Yeah.
not what they liked about him. So yeah.
Jack Ingram followed a similar
Yeah.
path too.
Yeah.
A few
Yeah.
years later.
I got a funny story about Jack Ingram. I was hanging out like I said, over at Love and War, and I was sitting there eating at the bar, talking with Tori, the manager or co-owner manager back then, and I was sitting there talking with Corey or Tori, and I was telling him it was my birthday and everything, and it was. I wasn't just making it up. Well, anyway,
That's good to know.
the guy sitting over here next to the bar didn't even notice sitting over here next to me. He paid for my steak dinner there for my birthday. And like I said, it was like lunch or something like that. And I realized I started talking to him, telling him thank you. Well, hell, it's Jack Ingram.
Oh,
He was just
man.
hanging out there at the bar. You know,
That's
'cause
cool.
he lived over like kind of over like around SMU or something over there.
Ah,
is
okay.
where
I
he
didn't
was
realize
living
that.
at the time. Yeah, yeah. He's from Dallas area. I think he went to school at SMU too. Psychology degree.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where does Gary Allen fit in and all that?
Nowhere.
Nowhere for Texas.
Gar-
He
Gary
is
Allen's-
friends with Cody Canada.
Because I rediscovered him recently, thanks to Jason. He was pretty good, man.
I like Gary Allen.
He was good.
How does he get
Uh,
lumped in with all the Texas country
he doesn't.
quote unquote
Well,
guys?
just 'cause he's
Because he
good.
kind of does.
He doesn't. He's, like I said, he's friends with Cody Canada, and that's probably the only connection I
Because
can
I've
make.
noticed he's always in a lot of, like when I was working at the Wolf, he was doing a lot of the Mardi Gras and a lot of their bigger shows.
I can trace
I always
my,
thought it was odd that he was thrown in there.
I can trace my Texas country quotations, Red Dirt roots back to a couple of events, and those were late 90s, 98, 99. One of those being Charlie Robinson's Life of the Party album.
Yeah.
It was good all the way through. And this was at a time when I was ready to, I still loved country, but everything country from Nashville that we were hearing on the Wolf and the Twister and all that stuff was starting to really sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize I wanted to step away from that stuff, but I was looking to step away from that stuff. And Charlie Robinson's Life of the Party is the first time I heard an album when I was like, this is different.
Yeah.
You could show it to anybody and they'd say, okay, it's country, but it's different.
Yep.
And it's that Texas attitude that Jack and those guys had. And then guys like Justin Griffiths coming back from Texas Tech, I'm guessing summer 2000, bringing Ragweed CDs and playing them at parties at the Low Bridge and stuff is the first time I heard Ragweed. And then
Cool.
then you had your Live at Billy Bob's CDs, the
Oh, yeah.
Randy Rogers, the Ragweeds, all that stuff just came one right after another, and they were all great.
Yeah.
Mine was kind of a slow progression. I heard Charlie Robinson's Loving County.
That was on Life of the Party.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and what's the one where the pipeline? My hometown.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and it was different, and it was cool, and I recognized it as like Texas country. And then I also at that time was getting in. That was when Jim and I were in the band, and
Yeah, we're talking about metalheads listening to a country album,
Yeah.
and
That
talking
takes a
about how
lot.
good it is.
yeah, and we were listening to a lot of like Hank 3 at the time. You
Yeah.
know, he had just came out with Rise and Outlaw not too long before.
Three of us went to a Hank 3 show
We did.
We
yeah.
did. It was
Over a few years
Gas
ago.
Monkey, wasn't it?
7 hours long.
4 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So it was that was a long show. But yeah, that was kind of when it started. And then when I really kicked it in was actually years later. I was kind of Johnny come lately. You and Ashley and I went down and I bought like
At Bill's Records.
like an Eli Young band CD.
Yeah,
or
I remember
something.
that day. I went to buy a Brian Burns CD that had Thunderstorms and Tyler Roses on it at
Ooh.
Bill's Records.
There we go. We were at Bill's Records.
That was
And
the
they-
purpose of
They
going there.
closed, hadn't they?
no, they're still there. They're still by
some-
Palladium.
my
right?
wife and I went last summer, and it was
Oh,
open.
wow. I thought I heard that they were going to close.
It's next door to Gillies.
Oh,
They moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
they
did move.
Off of Spring Creek.
Yeah.
They were Spring Creek.
Yeah,
oh,
in Plano.
Valley.
In
Or Dallas,
Richardson.
yeah.
Valley, yeah, Spring Valley.
Yeah, and then they moved down next to
Yeah,
down on Lamar
next
or
door to
whatever.
Gillies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought then.
Still the same old stuff.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
I hadn't been there
Yeah.
forever.
If you're a guy, you can go in there and get a deal.
Yeah.
For real.
Yep.
Or if you're sweet like my wife, she like basically bros down with Bill. So
Yeah.
It's been the rumor.
it's not a rumor.
Yeah.
It's very true. If you're a guy, you
I
get a
always
better
paid
deal.
full price there.
That's the rumor.
This is a caution.
Oh man. So let's see, where was I going to go with that? We were talking about music. You were playing guitar. Did you ever get in a band?
No, I kind of picked around some guys. Like I said, we're trying to kind of write songs and stuff. There's some guys around Farmersville and stuff that we're wanting to kind of get together
Right.
and do that. I don't know. I think it's more. I had that look. I
Yeah.
had the hair on my shoulders and stuff, and all that, and it just never worked out though.
You're friends with Ryan Luttrell, right?
Yes. Yep.
Did you ever go see his outfit
Oh
play?
yeah. I
I
remember
saw
back.
them at Hank's not long ago.
I remember back when they were first starting up. They were playing at the VFW there in Farmersville.
Yep.
You know, and like I say, and he's talented, man.
Yeah, he's a good
really
guitarist.
talented. And
I can remember Ryan learning chords
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember that far back.
He's just all out cool guy too, though.
Yeah.
Like I say,
Is he still cowboying?
yeah,
I haven't seen him in a while.
Me and him grew up riding calves and stuff together. That's how I knew him, and then started playing ball. And
Yeah,
all
we
that
played
together.
ball against each other. That's how I met him.
Yeah, cool guy though.
So
What kind of guitar you play?
Me, I got just an Epiphone acoustic, and I got an Ibanez Iceman.
There you go.
nice. So now you're a firefighter, right?
Mhm.
Trophy Club.
Yep, firefighter and paramedic.
Second time around at Trophy Club, right?
Second time.
Had a brief stint at Frisco.
Yeah, so yeah,
Went back to Trophy Club. Did you get promotion?
Not like an official promotion. They just kind of gave me some more responsibilities.
Sure.
Like I say, I was there at Trophy Club for like 4 years, and I didn't want to even leave really, but it's small there,
Yeah.
and Frisco, seeing what Frisco's doing, you want to be a part of that,
Yeah.
over there, and so then you just hear all kinds of great things about their fire department, through the fire department community, as far as their elite status.
Yeah.
They it's pretty buttoned down over there, and I figured that'd be fine. But like I say, I went over there for a while and
Realized it wasn't for you.
yeah, I don't want to get into, talking ugly about them or anything like that. They're a very elite fire department. I learned a ton of stuff when I was over there, got a ton of great experience. I felt like I was just walking on eggshells all the time though. And I got to the point where I was kind of dreading coming into work every third day, where Trophy Club I wasn't. And I was getting ready to leave Frisco just because I couldn't see myself spending another 20 years there. About that same time, Trophy Club, they're kind of went some more people and kind of worked out a deal with the chief at the time, and made me a better deal to come back and work there.
Right.
And so
Problem solved.
and now over there we switched our schedule because most fire departments work 24 on and 48 off. At Trophy Club, we started a deal about 2 years ago. We're just going to try it. We're working 48 hours on and 96 hours off.
That's awesome.
And man, we love that. My wife loves that. My kids love it. It works out awesome.
Yeah.
It's like 4 days off. You feel like you don't even have a full-time job,
Yeah.
like I said.
Jake Little started his firefighting career out in Marshall. They did the same thing.
Yeah.
And he said it was a little bit culture shock when he came up here to Colleyville, that getting used to the 24 on 48, because it feels like you don't have any time off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as like promotion, they made me a field training officer
Okay.
over there, and like I say, the little bump, in responsibilities and a little bump in pay, and I'm kind of lining up to be able to promote as soon as the spot opens up. Problem is in Trophy Club is people like it so much they don't want to leave.
Die or retire.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm waiting on.
Sure. Yeah. No. So how long you been a firefighter now?
Firefighter, about eight years now.
How long you been a medic?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You got your medic first before you were a firefighter.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. I mean, I'd volunteered and stuff. I've been volunteering probably a few years before that. So actually firefighting experience probably about 14 years.
Wow.
Is this after radio?
What's that?
After radio?
Yes. One of the
Obviously after radio, but immediately.
Yeah, because like I say, after radio, I started trying to figure out, what was important to me as far as a career and what I could really see myself doing. And what's funny is I always said I wouldn't be a firefighter and I wouldn't go work at Collin County Sheriff's Department because that's what everybody in Merritt and Farmersville were doing. That was the joke, is like you're either working at the Collin County Jail or you're in the Collin County Jail. And that's what my dad retired from. He retired working over there at Collin County. He is a bailiff there at the end. But so like I didn't want to do that just because that's what everybody kind of did.
Sure.
And lo and behold, though, it turned out it was a great job. I took really well to it. I loved doing it, and like I said, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything full time,
Sure.
living like that now. But
But that leaves you now to
96 hours.
Yeah.
96 hours
To pursue other.
Yeah,
Work leather.
and I'm busy. I'm more busy when I'm not at work.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, yeah. So pretty much I have full-time hours doing custom leather work.
Now, what's under that purview? I mean, I've got a Sampson leather belt.
Yeah.
As does my father.
So I basically it's using type leather work, more like your cowboy gear, some wearable type stuff,
Yeah.
like belts, wallets, things like that. And that's a good thing about it's a functional and wearable type art,
Right.
so it's easier to move that kind of stuff. And mostly I specialize in the stuff that's tooled and everything. Like if somebody comes and they want like a purse or something made per se, it's a lot easier just to get a plain purse off the shelf or anything. But if you want it all decked out and tooled up and initials or brands or any designs or anything, I'd freehand draw everything on that piece of leather with a number 9 pencil and then carve it all in there, you know.
Ooh, number 9.
Number 9.
So what's that mean, do you know?
Number 9 is really soft lead, and that means that it'll drop a lot of lead without making a big indentation in the leather. So I can just lightly scribe it on there and draw it in there and wipe it off, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what all can you do? Whatever.
Yeah, just about whatever.
You do holsters.
Yeah, I do
guitar
a lot.
straps.
Yes,
Cool.
Just about anything that can be made. I'm not doing boots at the moment, just because to get the equipment to make boots, you have to wait on somebody to die or sell out.
Yeah.
They just don't make the good stuff anymore. And whenever that time comes, you have to be ready to drop about 30 grand in equipment.
What about saddles?
I can do saddles. I'm not set up to do them a lot. The problem with a good handmade saddle is it's going to cost you every bit of $3,500 base. That's not carved or anything on there. No tooling or anything.
Just using.
That's just a plain old rough out saddle. And so a lot of guys, they don't want to spend that. A lot of guys don't want to spend $3,500 on a horse, you know, and let alone the saddle that comes on it. So if somebody comes to me and wants something, I can make it, but
get ready to spend some money.
It's
and wait.
Yeah. You know, there's saddle makers out there right now. Like the top saddle maker is KHYI out of Cody, Wyoming. His saddles average $40,000 a piece.
Oh
4-year waiting list.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. No.
You know,
I'm in the business and I ain't getting this.
Right.
But I don't make a lot of those just because there's not as much call for it. I can make them, but
sure.
My bread and butter is basically more of your like wearable type stuff and spur straps. And what's funny with that is you wouldn't think that there would be a big call for that stuff, but like I said, I'm spending 30, 40 hours a week and I'm booked out 2 months.
Wow.
And I've been that way for
Spur straps.
Spur straps.
I need a guitar strap.
Yeah. I mean, I can hook up guitar strap, put everything you want on it. And, you know, people always ask me because they think I'm like stamping figures onto it. But no, it's like, and that's the thing. That's why you spend a little bit of money on it because, like I say, if I fully tool a guitar strap, that's going to take 10 hours.
So you've got like, I've seen some of your work in the like checkerboard look.
Mm-hmm.
That's like individually notched kind of, isn't it? And I don't know what the correct terminology is, but
all that's the lines
like
are all
individually placed. All those,
like say that
nicks.
checkerboard look right there that you're talking about. I'm actually cutting those in there with a little knife,
like a weave.
Yeah, I'm cutting those in there with a knife, and then I take a beveler tool that I just kind of like bevel the lines in a certain direction to make it look like it's going up under something or laying on top of something.
So your tool's pretty much hitting every piece of that design.
Every little indentation you see on that leather is a stroke of my hammer. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why it just takes, and the same with coloring too. I mean, I don't, all my leather that I get is like the color of the palm of your hand, you know, and so I have to hand color all that stuff. And I found that's where I kind of fell into a niche is because I'm not afraid to really go in there and color like some wild color in there. A lot of the guys that I've learned from and stuff, they don't want to get into all that stuff. But
pretty conservative.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on my Facebook or Instagram, you'll see neon colors on a tooled belt with the graffiti letters and Indian skulls and stuff like that on there. And like I said, I found doing that stuff, that's what set me apart. And I found
your tag's kind of cool, cowboy graffiti.
Oh yeah,
I like that. You have a lot more turquoise paint than anything else.
Turquoise, it's so popular. I call it
turquoise.
Yeah.
I like turquoise.
Yeah, I mean everybody likes it.
How's my aim?
Oh yeah, right on. Yeah. I mean, it's just I always joke because one of my friends said they went and picked out a color for their bathroom from the Chip and Joanne collection. I was like, I bet it was some kind of turquoise.
Yeah.
I give my wife a hard time about it.
There's a lot of turquoise.
How many times do you write "gather" on the back of a belt?
No. Live, laugh, love.
Blessed.
It's always for Karen for some reason.
Karen.
So what's your favorite piece that you've done? Does one stick out?
Oh.
I
don't know.
I'll walk that back. Just say one that sticks out because it's hard to say a favorite. I got it.
A unique request.
Unique.
I like the high top Converse with the tooled leather.
Oh,
those are cool.
Yeah, those have been really popular lately. And then
with the women folk,
both
really.
Yeah, actually both. So don't feel ashamed if you want to come order a pair. I know that's why you're asking.
That is exactly why I'm testing the waters here.
So
I will buy a pair.
There's an energy company that came to me about 5 years ago, and like some oil company, you know, and they're in McKinney there, and they have a big conference table, and they wanted a big tooled piece of leather for their middle of their conference table with their logo in the middle, and then tooled leather all around it. And this piece was about, I want to say, about 6 foot long and about 3 foot wide.
Oh, wow.
And it was a huge piece. I just moved into my new shop there, and like I say, that was the first thing that I made. And I made your belt and that piece right there about the same
Nice.
era right there. And that piece stands out just because it took me forever, and I way underquoted that thing.
Yeah. You learned a lesson.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever overquoted anything ever.
Right.
But
That's it's probably the equivalent of a tattoo artist doing their first back piece.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
right? Full back piece.
Yeah. I'd say-
$500. Come on.
Yeah.
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 Can you do this for $500?
2 days later.
Yeah. Shoot, a back piece is probably 5,000 at the beginning.
It depends on where you go.
Yeah. I know somebody will finance them.
There's always somebody to do it cheaper.
You are
That's
pretty
true.
much like a cow tattooist.
It kind of is, and I can relate a lot
Post-mortem.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, a lot of tattoo artists, they practice with the pig skin and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so
That makes
like,
sense.
And that's something I would kind of like to look into getting into one of these days. You know, especially whenever I get more time on my hands.
You have
know.
tattoos?
I just got one here on my arm, and I'd love to get more. If it weren't for my job, which they're getting looser with that,
Yeah.
I'd be covered probably.
I would be
But,
too.
Yeah.
And money. I
Yeah.
had more money.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. And my wife, she's not big on tattoos and stuff, and so that's another thing too with that. So, like I say, just maybe one of these days. But
Sure.
I'm gonna do a
gotta-
lot of things when I retire.
I got a buddy that's he was a defense contractor. So he's a merc basically, right? And he was making a lot of money going to Afghanistan back and forth every couple of months and flying around over there. And he came back with a big deployment check. And he spent $8,000, and it is a gorgeous tattoo. It starts on his pec, and it's a full sleeve, and it's like Japanese koi fish, and it's very traditional. He went to a great artist, and then that contract ended,
Oh,
and he went on hard times, and he was like, "Man, I'd like to have that $8,000 back.
sell that arm.
Yeah, you better sell that arm, man."
Do you want to plug your page? I just found it on Instagram. There's a lot of really neat stuff on
Yeah,
there.
so you can go on Instagram, look up Sampson Leather. You can go on Facebook, look up Sampson Leather on there. That's my only sites that I have.
SAMPSON.
SAMPSON. Yep, Sampson Leather.
Hashtag turquoise.
Hashtag
Is
turquoise.
this your belt?
No, but that would be awesome.
That is cool.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he's looking at one. And the listeners are.
This one has a
loving
lot
us
of color
talking
in
about the
a lot
describing it.
of cool colors.
Yeah, like I say, that's if you're wanting something untraditional,
I've seen like earrings and
Yeah.
wallets. Oh yeah.
Your boy Ryan Edmonds,
Oh yeah,
is he still doing the Spurs?
yeah. He's doing really good with that. Ryan Edmonds out there in Princeton.
Yeah, he made my dad's buckle.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
So he builds spurs, custom spurs and buckles. He grew up, riding bulls and everything. That's where I knew him. He's a little bit older than me and phenomenal bull rider. He
Really?
really yeah.
Did I see you
Nobody's
doing
ever said that about me, ever.
something like a middle console for a truck?
Yes, yeah, I've done a lot.
How's
of,
that work? Mine's got an indention on it. Is it only certain trucks?
Oh no. I can do any truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working on one right now that's removable that you can take on and off with like a sleeve to put over it. Because the ones I've been doing, you'll send me your console and I trace it out, and then I make it on there to where it's not going to come off.
Yeah.
But I'm working on something where you can remove it.
Cool.
But
Pretty innovative.
Cool.
yeah, well,
Anybody
He's
else
an
do that?
innovative guy too.
you
He
got
can appreciate it.
You got to stay ahead because somebody's
Yeah.
going to catch up to you. So,
Yeah. Do something a little different.
yeah. And like I say, you go on the site there and you can see it's not like any other, custom leather work.
Yeah.
site.
Cool.
So I'm looking at this cap you brought, and he's got a bull on here, and he's got one horn turned down.
Yeah.
And I also seen one that looked really similar on your Instagram. Is this
Yeah.
from a bull?
No, not anything in particular. Like I say, I've always you got the crooked horn bull there, and if you look, his horns are tipped off. Like they're cut off on the ends, and that's just kind of a nod to kind of your bucking bulls and stuff. That's what you always.
He looks
see.
a lot like the one in a chute on your Instagram
Oh yeah,
page.
that's actually one of my recipient cows, my surrogate cows in that shoot there.
That's to capture the bucking audience.
Yeah, and my logo for my bucking bull business too is the same thing. It's the same bull. I always joke and call it the Jolly Roger because it looks like
Yeah.
the pirate
Yeah.
flag there.
That's actually a great segue. Let's talk about Sampson Buckers
Yeah, this
now.
leather we're
Yeah.
talking about, this is not from bulls that don't buck well.
You should have bucked better.
Should have bucked better.
So Sampson Buckers, getting that off the ground basically, and that's just me living my childhood dream finally, and having some of the means to get into that.
Well, you've offered me advice before on how to get in that because
I hope you didn't take it.
not yet.
Yeah.
No, not yet. So
So what I've done with that is I wanted to start from the ground up. In the bucking bull business, I'll back up. There's a association. It's the ABBI, and that's Bucking Bull Registry. It's American Bucking Bulls Incorporated. And so what they do is like a registry, just like your Angus associations, your quarter horse associations, all that. They're actually the second largest animal registry in the country.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Is bucking bull a breed of its own, or is it like
Technically, it
just
is
anything that
now.
bucks?
Is it really?
Since
Correct me if I'm wrong, but does every bucking bull has a little Brahma in it, correct?
It all kind of goes
Just-
back there, right?
just about. So they've made it into its own breed for technicality reasons. However, they are Heinz 57.
Sure.
Yeah.
The
majority.
but you're right. They're mostly have a touch of Brahman in them somewhere in there. The most popular is what they call a plumber breed. It's named after Charlie Plummer, and Charlie Plummer is maybe the first guy back in the 60s. I'm sure I'm shooting it full of holes, but he was the first person to try to breed stock specifically for bucking.
Start isolating that trait.
Yes, and a plumber, they are what you'll see is, and this is what majority of bucking bulls look like, is white with black spots, black tips on its ears, black horns, the black and white spots like speckled spots.
Sure.
All right, and that
I know
is
that look.
yeah, and that's a mix of a third white park cattle from England.
Yep.
They're very aggressive. A third Longhorn, and a third Brahman.
Oh.
And so he kind of developed that, and he's getting some good, pretty ornery cattle out of that. And you want them to be a little bit aggressive, not because it sells tickets so much, because the more aggressive they are, the more likely they are to turn back. So that means whenever they come out of the chute, they're not going to take off running away from a threat. They're going to turn back towards it.
Is that's the goal for
That's your goal. That's what they're judging.
as a judge? They're
yes. And so-
critiquing you on that difficulty ride, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And so, and now with the competitions, you're judging the bulls as calves. They have futurity competitions where they have everything from a 1-year-old to a 3-year-old in different categories. And so let's say we have the 2-year-old futurities,
Yep.
all right, where they just use a dummy on their back. It's like a 15-pound dummy.
Is that about the time they start putting dummies on their back? Or do you start earlier than
You can
that?
start at weanling age,
Really?
before they're a yearling at that point, and that's when a lot of guys
600 pounds, something like that. 800
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, well, bucking cattle they vary in size so much,
Okay,
and
sure.
they're a little bit on the small side.
We're not
anyway.
talking Angus here.
No.
Right.
Yeah, they're a little bit on the small side. So I'll start like at the beginning here. You get a calf on the ground, bull calf. Let's just talk about bull calves right now. After you wean them, you'll want to try to buck them with this dummy. It's about a 15-pound box with a remote latch release. So you can flank them, put them in the chute, and put your bucking dummy on them. You turn them out and see how they're going to do. You click it off remotely, and then you judge by there whether or not you're going to keep it or not, go to the sell barn, whatever you want with it. If it is something nice that you like, you can keep them, develop them a little bit more. And they have competitions with 1-year-olds, but you mostly see it with their 2-year-old year. And you'll take them, and you can win anywhere from 10 to 100 grand.
With a 2-year-old bull.
With a 2-year-old bull.
Wow.
I know 2-year-old bulls that have made 100 grand just in their 2-year-old year.
Again, I'm in the wrong business.
No. Like I say,
How you making that as the owner of a bucking bull?
what do you
The
mean?
rodeo pay you?
So what we're doing right now is that's just the competition side of it. You'll go to this. It's specific, just a competition for the bucking bulls, no riders or anything.
Okay, gotcha.
So you're paying an entry fee, could be $1,500, or so,
and hope they go in circles.
and you hope that they spin, and they'll judge that, and they'll get scored from 1 to 100 based on their intensity, how they buck, whether or not they spin, how high they jump off their front end. There's 5 different categories there that they all judge them by, and then like I say, it's
It's like a farm system.
yeah, and so like I say, they'll do that from the 2-year-olds, the 3-year-olds when you start putting a rider on them. And then that's when it starts getting hard, is to find riders for these competition type bulls.
Because they're already pretty ranked.
They are super duper rank, and they're young, and at 3-year-old they're young. Nobody wants to get on them or anything. So we're actually having to, yeah, we're having to pay guys to want to come get on your bull just so you can compete with this.
Wow.
And they have bigger dummies for that. They call it like the Boudreaux dummy, and it's like an actual like man, and he's got like legs strapped on and everything.
True. I like that.
And that guy's awesome. He's pretty sticky. He don't get bucked off. And they only buck them for 4 seconds when they do this, because you don't want to. You want to keep their heart. You know.
Yeah. You want to break them.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like I say, it's nothing for a 2-year-old to win, $100,000 in just that 2-year-old year.
Wow.
There's some 5-year-old bulls that have made over $1 million
just doing that.
Just doing that competition stuff.
What time do they? About how old do they start getting contracted out to PRCA and whatnot?
You're going to see them in the PBR and PRCA at minimum of 3 years old when they can start carrying a rider. And the PBR actually works in conjunction with ABBI. The PBR, back up a little bit, is like the biggest stage for professional bull riding.
Absolutely.
And that's where your guys are making $1 million a year, type stuff over there in the PBR. And so they are in conjunction, like I said, with the ABBI, and they all have a select few events every year where they'll allow the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds to come. And then while the actual PBR competition's going on, behind the scenes, the bulls are getting judged on their own too. Okay. And so there's another little side competition going with the bulls there. But like I say, whenever you start seeing the bulls, they're about 5 years old when they're in their prime, when they're fully developed and everything.
So do you have any bulls on the ground yet, or are you still working?
Right now, I just have some heifers. That's all I've been getting right now. I've been tinkering around with a lot of different methods as far as breeding and everything.
Sure.
I've done artificial insemination, live breeding. My new one right now, which he posted the pic of, or he talked about the pic, was a recipient cow that I'm doing. I'm starting to do embryos. So the ABBI has a list of bulls that produce really well, and they rank them off of how many of their 3-year-old sons have gone on to be PBR level bulls, PRCA level bulls, what percentage and all that. And then also with the cows as well, all the cows in the registry, they're all showing what they're producing. So I can get an embryo that's out of one of these top producing bulls and one of these top producing cows for about $500 or so. Wow. And I can put it in one of these Corriente cows that cost me $200, and I could get a, $20,000 bull calf out of it,
That's the noble goal, huh?
But the success rate.
Can you actually put it in yourself, or does that cost?
No, I take it in because you have to sync up their heats and everything.
Cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't put it in myself.
Oh,
that's good. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was mistaken.
I need to back up a little bit. But the problem with that is it's about a 50% chance where the embryo will take or not. And then you got another 50% whether that bull's even going to buck or anything.
Gonna be good,
Yeah.
So what changed? I remember, I don't know, back in the 90s or so, you had Bodacious. And then after Bodacious came some more athletic bulls, your reindeer dipping, little yellow jacket, bulls like that. And now every bull is that caliber bull.
Did you do research?
I used to be into
This
PBR
is my parallel guy.
Yeah,
Jason's my parallel.
Well done.
I used to watch PBR a little bit, but I realize now that breeding bucking bulls and owning bucking bulls is giant business. But I failed to make the connection of how it pays you back. So they lease your bulls on PBR. How does that work? They chosen?
So there's different ways of that. So at the PBR level, they're chosen by Cody Lambert. He picks and chooses whatever bull comes on the PBR level. And there's the major league PBR and there's the minor league PBR also. I think Monster Energy is the one that's sponsoring the major league level right now. So Cody Lambert picks those bulls. If your bull gets an out in that one, you get $500. If they're a short round bull, I think they get $800, I want to say, right now, which is all good and well if you're like HD and Dylan Page up there in Oklahoma and they're sending a truckload of 50 bulls.
Yeah.
That's paying
the volume.
The bills. I've got friends that are sending, one bull. They'll send them with another guy. The thing is the exposure. You're not making so much money at those events as you are going to be in, like, say, semen sales. Having
Sure.
said this is a PBR bull,
Right.
he's been to the PBR finals, $100 a straw of semen on
Yeah,
this
it's
guy.
like having a champion bloodline
Exactly.
sire bulldog or something.
Exactly.
So the
How much semen can you get?
Oh, I mean, it's going to be, I think,
Like in a year,
well, I mean, per collection.
not like per collection.
Well, per
that's
collection.
fascinating stat too, though, I'm sure.
I think per collection it's going to be upwards of 500 straws
Yes.
per collection. I want to say I've not collected any myself, and and you can
be on
collect
there,
a
you're
bull
lying.
every couple months though.
Okay.
But the thing is, I mean, you're going to be sitting on a pile of straws,
Um,
and like say
You
each
don't
one of
want
these.
place
that.
to be sitting.
You don't
No.
want that.
So
No.
one collection, 500 straws.
And we're actually talking about this. I had a friend post a picture on Facebook today. He was at a collection center, and the straws look like a coffee straw.
Yeah.
And he had
You
one.
don't get
Of
that
course.
confused.
He posted the
Of
picture
course.
of his cup of coffee with the straw sticking out of it. He's like, man, the coffee tastes weird here.
Salty.
Man, we derail fast.
the
So
wheels have fell off.
So what do these $1 million bulls? How do you get there? I mean, if everybody knew that, everybody would have $1 million.
Yeah, yeah.
bill. But I mean, like we
How
talked about.
how did that bull get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did that bull?
Let's
get there?
He's
talk
hard to
about
ride.
let's talk about the bull right now, Bruiser.
Bruiser.
Okay.
I feel like that name should have been taken a long time ago.
Yeah.
Clever name for
So
a bull.
Oh.
This is probably the greatest bull ever lived and probably ever will live as far as the bucking bull business. HD and Dylan Page, they raised him up there in Oklahoma. His sire, Showtime,
Yeah.
just so happened to have an amazing calf crop that year.
Okay.
He produced multiple world champions. This bull has won Bucking Bull of the Year 3 times in a row. He's the only bull to ever win Bucking Bull of the Year in the PBR and PRCA in the same year also.
Oh wow.
The bull, he's not hard to ride. He's just showy, jumps up on all fours, turns back both ways, even bucks going backwards leaps.
Well,
And as long as you're in time with him, you can gather him up and make a 92-point ride.
Sure.
Just don't stub a toe, and you're going to be 92 points on this
Right.
guy. And he's that way every single time they pop the latch on him. He's so dependable. His calves are already out there winning tons of money. He's, I want to say, a 7-year-old bull right now. And now his
Wow.
calves are starting to come of age where they're bucking. They're making a ton of money out there.
So that $1 million then comes from semen sales.
So,
Comes from
so let's just talk.
PBR.
And
His straw of semen, I think, is going to be about 3 or so thousand
per
for the
straw.
per straw. And then if you do happen to get a calf on the ground out of them, and you want to register them through the ABBI, that's another $2,500 that you pay the breeders there.
Right.
And so we talked about he's getting money on his outs at the PBR, which he's in the $800 mark because he's the short round bull. He's also winning Bull of the Year, which is another like $100,000 or
That
$100,000.
the PBR pays or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that the PBR pays for the Bucking Bull of the Year, and then the NFR stuff and all that.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just collects and collects and collects. Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're going to gamble, it seems like a fun way to gamble. If you like fooling with
Sure.
cows and
It's-
stuff.
it's not as much of a gamble, I wouldn't say. If
It's predictable.
If you're,
No.
yeah, you're taking an educated guess. I mean,
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're in some kind of control of it. But like I say, to me, it's not even necessarily about the money. And, my bank statement will definitely prove that
Sure.
right now because, like I say, I'm in the spending money part of it. And I'm
Right.
just experimenting. And like I say, I like fooling with cattle and everything anyways. So if I'm going to be fooling with cattle, I might as well be doing it. And
So are you hoping for a bunch of good bulls or one really, really good bull? Or would you
I
take
don't know.
either?
Well, right now, I'm kind of wanting to be in just the cow-calf side of it. I don't really want to keep any big bulls around my place right now just because I don't have facilities for these
Sure.
for these guys. They're like rhinos.
No.
They're full bore. They will crash through anything.
what stage are you right now?
Right now, I'm still in the calf crop type.
Yeah.
I got young calves on the ground right now, and most of them are heifers, and I'm keeping all those just to kind of grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, and I'm just now trying the recipient style there, so
So if you do come across one that bucks, there you go.
I'll probably wind up selling it for the right amount. So unless because to go to these competitions and there's something like every weekend, and
Sure.
like I say, being a family man and working full time, I can't be going out to Missouri and stuff every weekend and all that. And what a lot of people do is there's bucking bull training facilities and trainers out there, and these are guys usually ex-bull riders and stuff, and they have facilities just for keeping a bull there. They'll feed it for you about $10 a day. They'll take them out and train them once a week with the dummy, get them used good and shoot broke. Because that's the thing is you might have a really awesome bull, but he might spend all of his energy in the chute,
Yeah.
thrashing around in there, before he finally gets used to it. So they'll calm these bulls down. they'll get them going out there and bucking good and turning back, because there's a way to do it. You know,
Sure.
you got that dummy on there, and if they want to take off going straight and then they make a turn, you click that dummy off. They start to associate that dummy comes off every time you turn.
Right.
So you just kind of work that into
Then you
it.
got a spinner.
Yep. And then you just do that so much. And there's a whole nother bag of tricks that everybody's got their bag of tricks and everything. So you can send one of these guys. I'll probably be more apt to do that, because these guys will haul them to the events for you and stuff too. And you just split some winnings with them, some percentages here and there. There's so many avenues for it.
Cool.
Very cool. Why do all bucking bulls have scours?
Probably because
Is it from traveling or?
no, probably because of the high protein feed and everything. Because that's another big thing with the bucking cattle is the feed that you got to put in. You know, just like an athlete. You know.
Very cool. Who's your favorite
Right
bull
on.
rider?
Favorite bull rider, JB Mooney.
There you go.
You
That
share
guy.
some good buck and bull stuff on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
I like
Yeah.
your shares.
Who's your favorite bucking bull then?
Bruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, going right now. And like I say, everybody's kind of thinking he's lost a step because there hadn't been any bulls that hang in there that long. But he's at the NFR bucking right now.
That's what they're saying about Tom Brady too. But he's still out there throwing bombs.
He hadn't been throwing any bombs the
I
last
know.
few weeks.
He's not producing any semen though either.
Oh, that'd be more than $1,000 a straw, I'm sure.
Have you seen Ted 2?
Yeah.
Where they tried to go in there and milk him?
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming by. We're gonna wrap up here. We're about just over an hour, but before we wrap up, we always do 5 questions.
Awesome.
How many you
I
got?
have got 5 questions for you, my friend. I have got 5 questions for you, my friend.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a new one. We like
That
it.
was new. Poop, poop,
Yeah,
poop,
I
poop,
like that a
poop,
little bit better,
poodle-doo.
Matthew. You're getting better.
You know that song?
You're getting better.
That's Jumper.
Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the last song that you just.
Oh, no.
No. Yes. Yeah. Jumper. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right on.
Good job.
All right, so I'm gonna kick this thing off here. You ready? Hard hitting questions here. What odd food combinations do you enjoy?
Oh wow.
Like peanut butter and ketchup or anything like that? You know.
Uh,
I guess it's probably not odd to you if you enjoy it.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to think. Something that's odd to me. I do like ketchup potato chips. You ever had those?
No.
Seems like, I mean, it's a natural move, but it seems weird.
It's a Canadian thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's French fries, basically.
It basically is. But so my wife has some friends from Canada, and they sent me some Lay's potato chips. You know how they have like all different
Right.
flavors and stuff. Well, they have up there. They have ketchup. Yeah, I'm all the way up there too.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Sounds a
he's
little weird.
all up on it.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Anyway, they sent you some.
Yeah, sent me some in a lot, and so I've actually been dipping Lay's potato chips in ketchup.
Nice.
All right. I'm gonna try that now.
I don't know, man. I'm going to ask you to stop doing that.
It's kind of weirding me out.
All right. Who's the most famous person you've met?
Charlie Pride.
Oh, that's
Wow.
a good one.
That's come
Wow.
up 3 times.
Charlie Pride is just out there, man. Just
It
meeting
has,
I know
everybody.
my wife said that. We had a guest on the
Someone
show.
else said it.
Said that you're the 3rd one.
Dude gets around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
Apparently, it's
I
very
haven't
accessible.
met him. Now I'm kind of
Weird.
upset.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. If you could have a lunch with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive. Can it be fiction or nonfiction?
Yeah, whatever. It's your world, man.
I've always said that I wanted to have dinner with Atticus Finch.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Just to hear that awesome Southern accent.
I just yeah, he just has a lot of insight. He's just the kind of guy you
He's
wanna
good at
sit-
life.
You just want to pick his brain.
Yeah. I'll go with that.
All right, let's see here. I'm trying to read all of this. What album or song artist? What you got playing on your stereo or your iPod?
Well, we kind of talked about
Your
that.
tape deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your
the tape-
8-track.
Well, that one would be different. No.
Yeah.
Oh, there
we
I am.
go.
There he is.
All right, back.
Is it
up.
muted?
I thought I unmuted it.
Ah, man.
Man,
Man, he sounds better now. We got to
Yeah.
do the show over.
that was weird.
Redo.
I was still hearing
Okay,
it.
wait. Let's just back up. Let's back up real quick. We said, what was weird foods do you like? That would be
yeah, the weird foods for me. That would be ketchup with potato chips. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did
Most famous person you have met was Charlie Pride, which
Charlie
is,
Pride.
you share
Charlie
that with a
Pride.
couple other guests
Yeah.
of ours.
Guy gets around.
Yeah.
You said
then-
that too.
Yeah, I get around.
Atticus Finch would be the guy you would have lunch with. That's a good one.
As far as the fiction, yeah.
And what you listening to?
Like we talked about, I like a lot of Core Blonde.
There you go. The Hurtin' Albertans.
Oh yeah, I actually saw him at Hank's the other day. The best show I've ever been to was Core Blonde acoustic, and no band or anything. And my wife, she doesn't even really like country music at all. Likes a little Core Blonde, but she said that was the best concert.
Yeah,
she
he's
had ever been
amazing.
to.
Did he do Horse Soldier and all that stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And
Getting down on the
Student
mountain.
Pieces, man. S Lazy H, when he does that acoustic, I get a tear and I get embarrassed every single time. Yeah.
Did he do
nothing to
Bible
be
on the
embarrassed about.
Dash?
Yeah, he did that with Hayes Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
All right.
Cool,
Last question. If you could find out the absolute truth to one thing in this universe, what would it be?
This one's going to be kind of hard because
Did Des catch it? No, he caught it.
I'm really into a lot of conspiracy theories. Like,
Does Scott Carey really like the Cowboys, or
Yeah.
does he?
Does everyone who doesn't like the Cowboys
Really
really,
like them?
secretly love the Cowboys?
I don't think that's much of a mystery, though.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
true.
They spend more time talking
Anyway,
about
so
the
you're
Cowboys.
big into conspiracy theories, as
Yeah.
we are here at the 12
Yeah,
o'clock siren.
I really get wrapped up. I'm on a watch list somewhere, I'm
Oh.
sure.
So
Join
which
the crowd.
which one is the one for you? Is it the moon landing or JFK?
No,
or
the
what are we
moon of JFK would be really high up there, even though I think I kind of know, but
There
everybody
was
kinda
more than
thinks I
one
know.
shooter.
Oh, yeah. I've heard people go on record and say one way or another he was not leaving there alive.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go on record here on the 12 o'clock siren and say there was more than one shooter at the Vegas shooting, too. Just there's my conspiracy for the day.
Wow. This thing's going to go 2 hours.
Yeah.
I probably extraterrestrial.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that's one that I think we're far away. I
That
think
was your wife's too, right?
I think so, yeah.
She answered it the
she's
same way.
extraterrestrial.
She is, yes.
She is.
Yeah.
So she said that question just to throw us off the trail.
Yeah.
All right.
Just thought she was being sneaky.
Yeah, I think that one because that's one that we're going to have a hard time figuring out on our own.
There we go.
Yeah, and I think if we ever do figure it out, it'll probably be in a bad way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, man, I think that wraps it up for us. Sampson Leather and Sampson Buckers. And if, I guess you could go find him at Trophy Club Firehouse, too. So,
Yeah.
I'm over there every 6th day.
Thank you very much
Next
for coming out.
time,
Thanks for having me.
next time you got some spare time, come back. Let's talk some more music.
Heck yeah, I can do
Mr.
that all day.
Eric Sampson.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric.